Hello. So we are now in slide 59. We'll be talking about increment and decrement operators. So I actually introduced this already previously in an example where we used the unary plus plus and minus minus operator. So actually this is a very simple operator. It only adds one or it subtracts one from the variable. Okay. This is provided because it's actually a very useful operator. It's a shortcut to subtracting or adding one to a variable. Now, there are two ways by which you can use the increment and decrement operators. You can write it after the variable, or you can write it before the variable. So this after the variable is called the post operator, post increment or post decrement. This one is pre-increment and pre-decrement. So there's a difference on the evaluation. Although in terms of after effect, it's the same. They both either add or subtract one from the variable, but then in the expression itself, the value that will be getting at the moment you are evaluating the expression will matter. The difference will be felt when you are evaluating the expression where it is contained. Especially kung if it is combined with other expression. Pero kung siya lang isa, then there's no worry because it will only be either adding one or subtracting one. But when you combine it with other operators, that's the time when there is a difference between a pre-increment and a post-increment operators. Okay. So, it's actually very easy to use and it's easy to recognize because the plus plus or the minus minus are actually written together. Okay, you do not put a space in between the operator. And again, it's either increasing or decreasing by one. So the count plus plus or the plus plus count is actually just equivalent to the statement count gets count plus one, and count minus minus or minus minus count is just the same as count gets count minus one. So it's kind of a shortcut. Now, if you have this sample code here, int m gets 4, result gets 3 times plus plus m. Okay. It has a result of the result variable. Okay, the result variable. We'll get a value of 15 and m has a value of 5. Okay. However, if it is written this way, 3 times m plus plus, the value of result will be 12 and m, but then after this line, m will have a value of 5. Okay. This is the difference between a post increment and a pre-increment. So, kung pre-increment gani, meaning before the variable gisulat, during the evaluation, what Java will do is, kung una ang plus plus kaya sa variable, mag-plus siya daan og isa sa variable, then the result, mo na siya yung value nga gamiton when it is evaluating an expression. No, diri kay multiply siya. So i-multiply niya kay 3 is kato nang gidungagan na niya og 1 si m. So mo nang 15 ang value ni result. Pero kaning diri sa PCAS, if you have 3 times m plus plus, what will happen is count sa niya ang value ni m daan, which is 4. Mo nang i-multiply kay 3. So mo din ang value ni result. But after this line, the value of m will already be incremented by 5. Diba? Mo may gamit sa m plus plus. Mo may gamit yun sa plus plus to increment. So, after this line, the value of m will be 5, but the result will get only 12. Okay, so let's to demonstrate that. Where is my sign values? Let us copy this. And then also this one. So I copied it. Of course, to output the value of M and result, I have to have this system that output line statement. Okay, you have result equals, let's put a space, and then we got plus so that they concatenate niya. What's that? M gets, put a space, and I have to concatenate the value of M. Okay, so I'll copy that one here. Okay, so before this line, what is the value of result? What do you think will happen here? So for me, what will happen is that we're going to get a compilation error because we try accessing result at this portion where we haven't given result an initial value yet. Okay, let me see if I'm correct with that. So I will compile. This is already assigned values to, right? Okay. So now you will notice I have this error message. Okay. The error says that, oh, I didn't put pala a semicolon, sorry. That's not the kind of error I was trying to point out. Let's do it again. There, okay. Result cannot find result because result dili na nato siya gi-declare sa ubos, di ba? Nanigamit na to siya dali. So what I want to do is, let's declare it here. Okay, so since na-declare na siya dito int result, here, you do not say int result anymore, no? Masako na siya. Okay. Okay, sige. Here, ato mong siyang i-declarable true. Let's not declare it again. We shouldn't be declaring it again. Or perhaps to differentiate, let's use na lang the variable n para you will not be confused. This is n, this is n, this should be n, this should be n, this should be n. Okay, so here, si rest na lang akong iputang, and then this is now rest. This is now rest. This is a different variable. Okay, so here's the result. Then we have to change that to rest because here we're now using rest. Nothing else. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. And then let's do compile. Okay, so that's the kind of error that I really wanted to see. Variable result might not have been initialized. The reason for that is, yes, I declared result here. I declared result to be a variable of type print. But then the moment you try to access or use a variable that have the initial value, each time it gets an error. Okay? So either tanggal na to na siya or you put an initial value to result. Okay? So, or ibalhin na lang nato ni siya diri sa taas. What's the point of having this one here? Diba? Sige. So what I will do na lang is give my result here an initial value. Let's just put 0. And then this one also, the same thing. We'll get an error message na we did not initialize. Okay. So what is to be expected is that before this line, we have given result a value of 0. So naturally here, result will be 0 and m will be 4. So, and then we execute this line. Okay. We'll check what is the value of result and what is the value of m. So the same thing here, there is obos. Okay, we've said it already. Let me compile and run a program. Okay, so now what you will see is, let's try to increase the font size just a little. Okay. Mm, okay. Sige, so what you will see here is that the first line of output, result gets 0, M gets 4. That's kind of what we are expecting, right? Initial value of result is 0 and then M is 4. In the next line of output, okay, you have result gets 15, M gets 5. So at this line here, M is already 5. But at this point, because this is a pre-increment operator, what Java did is add 1 to the value of M, which is 4. And multiplied it to 3. That's why you have a value of 15. Okay. Then here, at the bottom, we have result gets 0 and then n gets 0. Okay. No, sorry, n is 4. And then at the bottom, we have result is 12, n equals 5. So meaning to say, when we did this computation, what Java did is to get the value of n, which is currently 4, multiply it to 3, that's the value of res. But the value of n after this line, at this line, n is already incremented by 1, that's why n is 5. Okay, so I hope that is clear. You're going to need practice on that. Make sure you familiarize yourself. Bag plus plus m or plus plus I. Basta naguna si plus plus, you always add 1 to the value of the variable first. Okay? And then, kung post decrement, you get the value first. After you get the current value first. And then after getting the current value, you can add 1 to it. Okay? Sige. Let's move on. So this is now the president's rules, no? This is actually, I found this in another textbook. This is in the textbook of Nelldale. Okay, so the highest precedence, as I've also mentioned in the other video, is that the parentheses, no? Except for the typecasting where you do it last. If dito siya sa gawas, no? Pero kung sa sulod, again, ano siya, you have to perform the typecast. So, I think you have to get yourself familiarized because once you're familiar with it, then you will not, ano na, kanang hesitate na. You do this